Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's URC Round 11 South African Team of the Week. Two very interesting games this past weekend as the Bulls hammered the Lions 34 points to 10 with a bonus point victory before the Sharks blew a lead to draw 22-all with a very resilient Stormers side who've kind of sort of developed this never say die attitude. And once again managed to come back from behind to salvage some sort of result. Didn't manage to get the win this time. But I think that any Stormers fan would look at that game and be very happy with the draw because they were pretty much trailing from the get-go. And the Sharks, for all that they had all the right players, all the right sort of combinations, stuff like that, they had everything in their arsenal to go and win the game. Just couldn't manage to do it at all. So today we're going to look at the top 15 performers from the past weekend from those four sides. Now, as you can imagine, it's a very Bulls-dominated side, and just one Lions player makes it. But it's quite difficult always to choose a team of the week. Especially when you've got a thrashing, a draw, stuff like that. You know, you always want to sort of have a fairly reasonable representation of players across the teams. But I think, there are certain sort of, when you go one, who was the best Lucid, who was the best Titan, stuff like that, it doesn't always go that way. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I want to know what your guys is down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Without any further ado, let's have a look at what we have got. This is what we're going with this week. A couple of players who are very unlucky to miss it. Some players who sort of kind of get there because there wasn't necessarily too many other standouts, to be honest. So we'll start in the front row, and I think the hardest one was to go. It was a pretty easy pick in Oxenchair, who was the man of the match in the Sharks draw. But I thought Stephen Kitsoff was as impressive, to be honest. The difference is Stephen Kitsoff was scrummaging against Thomas Toy, who's a very good operator and was pretty solid there, whereas Oxenchair pretty much sent Sally Sunny back to the junior setup, to be honest. He absolutely demolished him in almost every single scrum to the point where it was all about how long until Brock Harris comes because Sally Sunny just could not cope with the enormity that was Oxenchair. I thought he also carried the ball pretty well, was very involved in his tackling. And it speaks a lot about the ambition of a player because afterwards he said, I'd like to have been involved a bit more. Despite being named man of the match. So a player who's only on the rise and only getting better every single week. Hooker, I thought Johan Kobela was a stand-up for the Bulls. He did get the man of the match as well. It's a matter of time before he plays for this Reamboks. Having said that, I was very happy to see the type of performance we saw from Bongi Mbonambi this weekend because he looked like the Bongi Mbonambi of old. The very confrontational, the very physical, the very, sort of top dog idea of, when he gets the ball carry, he's aggressive with his ball carry. He's very direct. And we saw that last over the weekend. And obviously, he's a very good line operator. And then tighthead, Carly Sardi makes the team once again. Very few things to celebrate out of that Lions performance, but the one thing was the scrum, and Carly Sardi especially absolutely tore apart that Bull scrum. He's probably at the moment the most informed tight end in the country. I know Francis Nahova currently injured, but apart from that, I think Carly Sardi could be playing with the best of them. I think his scrummaging is second to none. He's an absolute unit of a player, and he's getting a lot more mobile around the park. So that is always sort of the worry. But at the end of the day, we've seen the success that Francis Nahova has had, and I don't see why Carly Sardi can't sort of follow in those footsteps. I've cheated a little with the locks. So I've gone with two number 5 locks. I went with Marvin Uri and Ruan Okia. Ruan Okia did get a yellow card, so I could have left him out, but I thought that he was very impressive against the Lions. He's just everything you want in a lock. He's not necessarily flashy, but he does all the hard yards. He carries well. He tackles well. He's very good at the line-out time. And I thought Marvin Uri as well at line-out time was absolutely superb. He's a line-out specialist. Probably one of the best line-out jumpers in the country, and it really does show. And it's very useful to see to have a player, where you're almost guaranteeing line-out wins every single time because he is so good in the air. The loose chair has to be the Bulls' loose chair, who absolutely bullied the Lions. Marcel Coetzee, I thought led from the front and put in a very characteristic Marcel Coetzee performance. Arno Buerta defensively wasn't maybe at his best. I think he slipped a couple of tackles, but he was an absolute battering ram of a ball carrier, and he just kept pushing the Lions back, as did Albert Lowe, who, in the words of Jake White, also can't be too far away from a potential Springbok call-up in the coming months with the form that he is currently showing. I've gone with the Bulls halfback pairing, Ambrose Pierre and Morne Steyn. I thought Grant Williams had a very expressive performance. He had a couple of good breaks. He had some very good moments, very much a live wire scrum half, very much plays with instinct. But I thought that Ambrose Pierre was the slow poison that killed the Lions because every single time the Lions were in the Bulls half, his tactical kicking game was off the charts. And I think it was 4 or 5 restarts or passages of play where the Bulls would gain possession in 22, and it was almost guaranteed that if they had gained possession and if he had clean ball, he was going to kick the Lions back to either the halfway line or inside their half. And he played the territory game so well. We saw a bit of a different side of Ambrose Pierre. We saw the tactical awareness that he can have. I think that when he gets to his best, I think he's the complete scrum half. So it's very good to see him playing such good rugby and such intelligent rugby. Mornay Steyn is the fly half, which in many ways is a bit of a concern because I thought that apart from Mornay Steyn, who was a very short and very solid performer, the rest of the fly halves had a very, very poor weekend. I thought that, Fred Zailing was nowhere, missed 2 very easy 3-pointers, dropped a ball, a couple of tackles, had a very off game. I thought Monty Liebach almost looked like he was trying too hard, wasn't coming off for him at all. Buddha Chamberlain's goal kicking was pretty terrible. Did start a drop goal, but one of your primary roles as a fly half is to kick well off the tee, and he couldn't do that. So it is a bit worrying that Mornay Steyn at his age and having retired from the Springboks continues to be a cut above the rest, and there aren't too many fly halves who are really sort of taking that opportunity to grab that extra spot that could now be available in the Springbok squad. Gone with Marcus Allum at Pimpy. He's just a try scoring machine, and just try to score another try. It's almost becoming too easy for him. It's almost just, another game, another try from him. And then on the other way, I got with Madosh Tumwe. I didn't think it was a weekend, a particularly impressive performance from the 14s. I thought Edward van der Merwe was quite quiet for the Lions, not necessarily his fault. He didn't get a lot of opportunity with ball in hand. I thought that Spoon Corsi had one of the worst games I've seen him playing quite a long time. And I think the Stormers wins. In fact, I thought one of the most impressive 14s was actually Damian Willemse when he shifted across when Warwick Galant came on. I thought he actually looked very good in the wing, ironically, because he hasn't really played there. But in the centres, I've gone with Harold Forster, inside centre. A very short, very powerful performance from him. He did score the bonus point try against the Lions, and he looked very, very good. And as a Lions fan, you watched him play thinking that's exactly what we need right now in our team. Berger Orden are also going down injured for the Lions, which is a bit of a worry. But I thought that Ben Tapawai was quite quiet, and the Stormers centre pairing hasn't really sort of managed to go through the gears just yet early on in the season. And Andrew Bassi was coming in there. Last year was Rick Pretorius run now as well. Not quite been able to sort of do what we all know he can. And then I'm going to Kanya Ahmed outside centre because, again, I didn't think they would. I thought Lionel Poo looked very impressive for the Bulls. Could very easily have gone with him. But I think the Kanya Ahmed it was a very classy performance from him. His offload game, his creativity, his defence. He's got the full package, and he's just playing some sensational rugby at the moment. And then fullback, once again, a cameo off the bench, but Warwick Galant just makes the Stormers side come alive. They have confirmed that he will be starting this weekend, and he has to start because he's too good to only give him half an hour. And I understand, especially internationally, you can have those impact players, but he affects the game every single time he gets the ball. And the entire game shifted momentum once he came on. He was getting the Stormers out of trouble. He was putting them in promising places, and he is a major reason to them actually drawing the game and was one of the key reasons they won last week. He's just in a different level of form at the moment. I thought Apelele Fassi played pretty well this weekend as well, so there's nothing against him. Did get the yellow card and conceded the penalty try right at the end, which, funny enough, I think he'll learn from because I think if he hadn't necessarily made that and forced him to score in the corner, then they would have had a very difficult conversion attempt to try and level the scores. So it's interesting how that kind of attitude all of a sudden comes in. But that's what we've gone with. I want to know what you think down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.